Trying to be close. As befitting his monthly schedule, Dad called in mid-November to check in on me for some reason. "How have you been doing?" Dad asked. I was walking home from class. "I'm fine, just school and stuff." Unfortunately, Dad had a first-hand look into my life because of social media. That, combined with gossip, meant nothing stayed secret for long. "I heard you broke up with that girl." "Yeah," I said. "Things just got a little serious, and I didn't want to take it any further." "That's good," Dad said. "You really should wait until you're older to get into a serious relationship." I rolled my eyes. Dad was always quick to give me a piece of advice he knew clashed with church culture. "Yeah, I know." "Ava agrees," Dad said. "She's here too." Dad put the phone on speakerphone so I could hear my stepmom. "Hey, Johnny," she said. "Hey," I said. "You know what you should do?" Dad took over. "You should go backpacking through Europe over the summer." "Ooh, yeah," Ava said on the line. "You should just go for like a month or two over the summer. You'll find someone you're actually attracted to there." I laughed. "Yeah, I guess you would know from experience." It took a moment for my words to sink in on their end. Then Ava burst out laughing over the phone. "Oh, burn," she said. Dad and Ava had met in Italy, where they began a relationship and subsequently left their spouses for one another. "All right," Dad said. "I guess I had that coming." "Hey, Johnny," Ava said. "I've got to go pick up the kids, but it was good talking to you." "Good talking to you too," I said. "See ya." The speakerphone turned off. "You still there?" Dad said. "Yeah." "You haven't started dating anyone after that girl, have you?" Dad asked. Well, I hesitated. I'm terrible at concealing my thoughts. "Johnny?" Dad said. "Are you dating anyone?" "I'm sort of dating a guy right now." "What's his name?" Dad's voice betrayed no surprise. Had he heard me? I considered saying something like, "No, Dad, didn't you hear me? I'm dating a guy. That, means I'm gay." Or whatever. I decided just to play along with his game of acting like everything was normal. "His name is Easton," I said. "Ava and I have always thought you'd be happier in that kind of relationship," Dad said. I've never known how to interpret that response. "Oh, we've always known you're gay." And inwardly, it's like, was I really that obvious? "So, how has it been dating Easton?" Dad asked. "It's been great." That familiar adrenaline rush coursed through me every time I thought of him. "Good," Dad said. "I'm glad you're figuring things out. Hopefully, it doesn't get complicated with you being at BYU." "I'm just keeping things simple for now," I said. "It'll be fine." The Friday before Thanksgiving break, Easton invited me to go with him and some of his friends to the final Hunger Games movie. I agreed, feeling elated that Easton had invited me. I drove to the theater alone, the last person to arrive. When I saw Easton, intimidation pulsed through me. 3 tall, attractive men surrounded him. 2 of them seemed to be together, and the remaining guy acted infatuated with Easton. I wondered if this was the guy with whom Easton had hooked up last week. His name was Levi. I instantly hated him. I realized with sinking horror that I must be a fifth wheel. We bought tickets, sitting in the front row because of the opening weekend crowd. I sat by Easton. Levi sat on the far end, away from Easton. Good. I wanted to grab Easton's hand throughout the movie, assert my dominance, or whatever. The problem was that I didn't know how Easton felt about me. All my confidence had evaporated. I didn't know if he liked me. A girl sat next to me with her boyfriend. They were holding hands. Why did it seem so natural for them and not us? I didn't grab Easton's hand, and he didn't grab mine. The movie ended. We all went our separate ways. I climbed into my car, driving home via North University Parkway. Just before passing into Provo, I received a call. Easton. I answered. "Hello?" "Hey," Easton said over the line. Sorry, we all rushed to leave. Do you want to hang out? Sure, I said, euphoria flooding my body. My insecurities evaporated, replaced by enough dopamine to get me through the next day before withdrawals set back in. We met up and drove to our favorite spot on the mountain. Into the early hours of the morning, we talked and kissed. He was my favorite person. That both excited and terrified me. My cycle of self-consciousness surrounding Easton continued. I had never experienced something so wonderful and terrible at once. I loved Easton, yet I knew a relationship between us would never work. It just seemed impossible. But it had to work. Every day, I convinced myself that Easton no longer liked me and wanted to stop being friends. Logically, I knew everything was fine. I was being delusional. Easton liked me, and we would always be good friends, regardless of if we dated. But my emotions told a very different narrative. I was standing atop a house of cards in a windstorm. This relationship couldn't last. Things like this didn't happen. I was going to fall and be hurt, just as with everything else in life. The time came for Thanksgiving break. Dad discovered a new interest in me since my coming out to him, so he insisted I celebrate Thanksgiving in Boulder with his side of the family. My uncle did a big celebration at his house there every year. I arranged a ride with my cousin. I texted Easton before leaving. Me, I'm leaving tomorrow at noon. Do you want to meet up again before I leave? Easton. I don't know when I'd be able to. I've got home teaching this afternoon and evening, an astronomy lab tomorrow at 10, and then I have a counseling appointment tomorrow at 11. Me. All right. If it somehow works out, that would be cool, but not a huge deal. Easton. Okay. I'll keep you posted about tonight then. That'll probably be the only time to really possibly work. Responses like this fueled my uncertainty. Easton often used home teaching and other church responsibilities as an excuse not to spend time with me. I would pace around campus and my apartment, unable to think about or do anything else. What was he thinking? What if he didn't like me? Easton texted hours later. Easton. Hey, if you wanted to come by my place about 8, we could chill for a bit. Smiley face emoji. I stepped through the threshold of his apartment, looking around with weary eyes. His roommates were out for the holiday. Soon after my arrival, I found myself cuddling with him on his couch. My worries and concerns melted away. This was right. No one could ever convince me otherwise. What are you laughing about? Easton asked. I kind of just came out to my dad. My uncontrolled grin broke through to my face. That's why I'm visiting him for Thanksgiving. Easton's eyebrows raised in surprise. You're coming out to everyone. How did he take it? He didn't really reply. My face scrunched. I told him I was dating guys, and he continued the conversation like I had said the sky is blue. That's funny, Easton said. He wasn't laughing. Given what you've told me about him, his reaction isn't too surprising. Yeah. The conversation died, neither of us seeming to have any further input. Easton and I danced around our interests, never landing on common ground. I sometimes brought up my writing, and he shrugged it off like most people do, unwilling to hide his disinterest. Similarly, his love of New England and transportation systems never sparked my interest. I was selfish and immature in that regard, unable to step outside my passions and make room for anything else. I should get going, I said. It was late, and I still hadn't packed for Thanksgiving break. Easton nodded. We stood. I hugged him. Our lips came together. Thanks for hanging out today, I said. It was good to see you before leaving. We just saw one another yesterday. Easton's amused expression gutted me. Amusement over the idea that we should see each other daily. The horrifying understanding of how hard and fast I had fallen for Easton crashed into me. I loved him. And I couldn't do anything about it. But he didn't feel the same for me. Reverse déjà vu turned the world around me. I had been in this situation with Claire, only on the receiving end. The parallel nature of the relationships seemed so clear now. I was just as fearful of losing him as she had been of losing me. What if I pushed too hard? What if I scared him away? Maybe, just by showing up here tonight, I had damaged the relationship by trying to push things too fast. I did not want to wait for him to love me. Yet, achieving that end felt like the only worthwhile pursuit. And that was precisely what Claire had done to me. Pushed and prodded and insisted on love until only bitterness remained. Easton did not reciprocate my love. It tore me apart inside. I said goodbye with a strange and impenetrable wall resting between me and Easton. His apartment door closed behind me, and I descended the stairs to the street in a daze of confusion.